If someone asked me what is the one book that changed my life, it would be this book, The Magic of Thinking Big. And in this video, I'm going to tell you why. So if you're ready to get your mind blown, let's go. Hey friends, welcome to your own book review hub, where we learn to make smarter decisions and highly beneficial tips by understanding how our minds work. Now today, I'm going to do something different. Instead of talking about a concept or an idea, I am going to talk about a book that has had the biggest impact on my thinking and ultimately, my life. It's called The Magic of Thinking Big by Dr. David J. Schwartz. This book was recommended to me about 20 years ago by a dear old friend. And honestly, I was skeptical because it looked like this. The cover was kind of cheesy and did not impress me, but I was hungry to learn some new perspective to be successful. So I borrowed the book and I started reading. And what happened was that by reading about 20 pages, I had already underlined so much that I decided to buy the book myself so I could keep it and highlight it and write notes on the margins. By the time I finished the book, I felt like a completely different person. I took big swings in my personal life and career, and over time, I saw those decisions play out and compounded into everything that I have now. So here are 3 things that stood out to me in this book. Number 1, believe in your ability to achieve anything. If you can imagine it, you can achieve it. Dr. Schwartz talks about how your self-image determines your success. How you see yourself is the lens through which you view the world and ultimately how the world will treat you. He says that successful people have a positive self-image. They believe they can achieve anything they set their minds to. But here's the thing. You have to feed your mind that belief consistently. For example, if every time you look on social media, all you see are people living better lives, then you driving nicer cars, living in nicer houses, traveling to exotic locations, eating better food, having more fun, then guess what? Your self-image is going to start to match theirs. Because deep down, your brain is going to pick up on that pattern and say, hey, maybe these people are better off than you. Maybe they're smarter than you. Maybe they just got lucky. Who knows? The point is, you shouldn't feed your mind these thoughts. Instead, you should curate your environment to remind you that you are capable of great things. Here's what I mean by that. If you want to remind yourself that you can save money, post sticky notes around your house that say, I save money. Or if you want to remind yourself that you can handle difficult conversations, put up a note that says, I speak up for myself. Or if you want to become financially free, post something that says, I am financially free. Why? Because your subconscious mind will eventually start to accept it as truth. And once it does, it'll start to look for ways to bring that truth to life. I'll give you another example of this. Let's say you have a friend who always seems to be broke. Every month he's calling you, asking you for money, saying he's stuck until payday. Now, if you're his friend, you're probably used to helping him out. But one day, you decide enough is enough. You tell him, listen, I'm not lending you any more money. You need to figure out your finances. He gets angry, but you stand your ground. A few weeks go by and you run into him at the grocery store. He looks different. He's wearing nicer clothes, a new cologne. And you think to yourself, wow, this guy really turned his life around. What happened? Well, you didn't lend him any money for a while. And because of that, he was forced to find other solutions, get a side hustle, cut back on expenses. And as a result, he became somewhat financially free. That's what happens when you stop feeding your mind limiting beliefs. You force it to come up with new solutions. Now, if you want to be successful in your career, you need to do the same thing. Stop watching TV shows that reinforce negative stereotypes about your abilities. Stop listening to news anchors that tell you how bad things are. And instead, start surrounding yourself with people who inspire you to be better. Read books on success. Listen to podcasts, watch motivational YouTube videos. Do whatever it takes to keep your mind focused on the possibilities. Number 2, think big and then break it down into small steps. Schwartz argues that most people don't think big enough. They settle for mediocrity when they could have greatness. To make matters worse, he says, society often teaches us to be modest and to play it safe. We're told to follow the crowd, to blend in, to not stand out. But here's the problem with that advice. When you do what everyone else does, you get what everyone else gets. So if you want something different, you need to do something different. And that means thinking big. But here's the problem with that. 2. Thinking big is scary. It takes you outside your comfort zone. It forces you to face your fears and doubts head on. But here's the solution to that problem. Break it down into smaller steps. Let's say you want to start a business. Starting a business is scary. It means leaving your job, taking financial risk, facing uncertainty. But if you break it down into smaller steps, it becomes less a bit overwhelming. First, you might start by learning from people who have done it before. You read books, you listen to podcasts, you watch the most relevant YouTube videos. Next, you might start taking small actions. You might start by selling on Amazon, eBay, or Etsy. Then you might move on to dropshipping or wholesaling. Eventually, if you keep taking small actions, you'll eventually work your way up to starting your own business. The same is true with investing. Investing is scary. It means putting your money into something that could go down in value. But if you break it down into smaller steps, it becomes less daunting. First, you might start by educating yourself. You read books, you follow experts on social media, you subscribe to newsletters. Next, you might start taking small actions. You might start by investing in index funds. Then you might move on to individual stocks. Eventually, if you keep taking small actions, you'll eventually work your way up to managing your own portfolio. Whatever your goal is, just know it's totally cool to kick things off with small steps. Seriously, starting small is key because big goals can feel super overwhelming. Break them down into little chunks and you'll be amazed at how much easier it gets to take action. Don't focus on the past. Okay, Dr. Schwartz really dives deep into how our thoughts shape our reality. He is all about the idea that while we can not go back and change what had already happened, we absolutely can shift how we think about those past experiences. I know it might sound a bit out there, but think about it. For example, if you had a tough breakup, instead of dwelling on the heartbreak, you could focus on what you learned from it or how it helped you grow. It's like flipping the script. By changing our perspective, we can turn painful memories into stepping stones for a brighter future. So, let's not get stuck in the past. Let's use it to fuel our journey forward. Let's say that you grew up in a limited income household. You might think that your financial limitations are your fault, that it has something that you did or didn't do that caused your family to be at the lower income levels. But here's the thing, you have no control over your past. You can't change it. All you can change is how you think about it. For example, let's say you were the kid who always had hand-me-down clothes. You might think that's a bad thing, that it meant you were poor. But what if you flipped that around and said, you know what? I'm resourceful. I'm creative. I know how to make do with what I have. I'm a problem solver. It's all about how you choose to think about your past experiences. Are they a burden that you have to carry around? Or are they stepping stones that got you to where you are today? Your past, it doesn't define who you are. Trust me on that. It's really your thoughts that shape your reality. So, if you're dreaming of success, you've got to zero in on the here and now. Letting go of past mistakes or regrets is key, right? Focus on what you can do today, like picking up a new skill or reaching out to someone who inspires you. That's how you start building the life you want for tomorrow. Remember, every little step counts. There's this amazing quote from a book that really sticks with me. It says, "The past has no power over the present. The only power the past has is the power we give it." Isn't that just so powerful? It really makes you think about how we let our past shape us, right? As you can see, this book is absolutely jam-packed with gold nuggets. I highly recommend that you pick up a copy for yourself. And remember, the magic of thinking big is not just in the ideas, it's in the execution. So don't wait, start today. Begin by changing your thoughts and your self-image. Think big and break it down into small steps. And don't focus on the past, focus on the present moment and what you can do right now to create the life you want. Trust me, the results will be worth it. Before you head out, I've got two quick favors for you. First, if you enjoyed this video, give it a like. I know it might seem a bit silly, but it really helps out with the algorithm and shows that you want more book reviews like this. And second, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. I drop new videos every week to help you level up your personal learning and self-improvement journey, and I'd love for you to be part of our awesome community. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon in the next video.